This is a How Is He podcast with Podge and Poppa, proudly sponsored by Ampifi. Power up your podcast. Let's kick it off.
Welcome to episode 67 of the How Is He podcast, joined as always by my co-host Paul Poppa rolling in this fantastic facility that is Ampifi Studios, Poppa, right here in the heart of Carlow Town. This week is a completely different episode. We are joined by...
Left field, isn't it, Podge?
It's way left field. Way left field. We're joined by Nicola Doran and Nora Ryan from the Carlow Chamber of Commerce. Nicola is the current CEO and Nora is president. I don't think either of us are qualified to do an intro and breakdown of what you do. So here's where we're going to start. The first thing we're going to say is for people listening and ourselves, can you just give us a breakdown about your roles and what you do and how you got there?
Yeah, I suppose I started as CEO just over a year ago. My background would have been, I worked with the Design and Crafts Council in Kilkenny for years, kind of membership management, that sort of thing, developing businesses in the craft sector. And then Nora came along and said, you need to think about this job. And I was like, no, I don't really. And she said, no, you do need to think about this job. And a couple of months later, I had the job.
She had the job.
But it's one of those places where there's an awful lot happening. And every day is different. So my role is basically the operational side, making sure that all the activities at Chamber happen and that they happen in the way that the board wants to happen. And Nora is chair of the board or president of the board. Mm-hmm. And really the role of Chamber is around being the voice of the business community. The same way you guys are the voice of Carlow.
Oh, congratulations.
Well done. Welcome to the studio.
We'll give you a 20 unit when we finish recording. Thanks so much.
A brown envelope later for that.
Yeah. It'll be see-through.
But basically we're there to kind of, whatever businesses need that are members, we're there to try and support them, make sure they get it. To arrange events so that they can meet each other and get in touch with each other and network and support each other. But also to, I suppose, listen to what they need and pass it on, lobby on their behalf, make sure that their voice is heard whenever. And we're in turbulent times, so that's it's going to be a big part of the next little while.
Yeah, and for my part, my business is Barrow Consultancy and Training, and I bought the business from the previous owners just over 4 years ago. Oh. And I'm not originally from Carlow, I'm Tipperary originally, and I felt I wasn't known in the business community. And having bought the business, I wanted to get to know people. I wanted to get to know other business owners, and I wanted to reach out to other businesses and tell them about Barrow and to tell them to get them so that they would get to know me. So I decided to join the Chamber of Commerce, which I did. So I just joined it just over 3 years ago, and on Friday, the 6th of June, I became the president of the Chamber of Commerce.
Congratulations.
So thank you very much. So I'm just coming into a 2-year term now, and I'm very excited for this role. I have a lot of energy and a lot of ideas on what we can do. I'm very passionate about business in Carlow. I think Carlow is a great little county. It's absolutely thriving, but we don't shout loud enough about ourselves. I think we're punching way beyond our weight, and we just don't tell it. We don't tell the story enough. So I'm looking forward to lobbying, to working closely with Nicola. We've done a lot of work already, and I'm looking forward to getting really stuck into the role and to promote businesses as best we can.
But just word from the other side of the mirror. Can you plug out that Dyson there? It's a bit too noisy. I didn't want to interrupt you in your flow. Plug out the fan. Yeah.
Oh, the grey one there.
This is so professional, girls, isn't it? Yeah.
Plug out the fan.
Make sure it's the right plug.
Plug out the fan.
Yeah.
The whole thing goes black.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Thanks, Patrick, for sending that. Or Paddy, sorry.
Take two.
Tell me this. Where are we at the minute in relation to current climate and business in Carlow?
It's a funny one. I suppose there's an awful lot of doom and gloom out there in general about the economy, not just in Carlow, because there's so much uncertainty at the minute with all that's happening across the pond. But we were just talking about this earlier today. If you had said to any of us, 15 years ago, that you took a snapshot of the economy as it is now with such low unemployment, so many new businesses booming, so much going on, and that the problem is actually supply. We can't get houses built. We can't because everybody's too busy, or things, materials have gone too expensive. We just said that's a fantastic situation to be in. So while things are not perfect at the moment, the current state of play is pretty good, not without its challenges. It's like the cost of doing business is really high, and that is a challenge.
Recruitment and retention, is another
Big
huge
problem.
challenge for
Talk
businesses.
to you about that, recruitment and retention, in without sounding rude, in like lower scale jobs or just across the board?
Across the board. I mean, we're pretty much operating in 100% employment. So it's if you have good staff, you want to hold on to them. And if you're recruiting for new staff, it's hard to get the right person, or it's hard to get, what you're looking for. Because everybody's in employment, everybody is working at the moment. So it's just, there's not an awful lot of people looking for new opportunities at the moment. So it can be quite challenging. You can be lucky, but particularly at the moment, it can be quite challenging. And I think if we are coming into uncertain waters, which we are, and we all know we are, people are I think it's a case of batten down the hatches. I'm comfortable where I am now. I'm safe. I think I'll stay here for a while and ride the storm and see what happens.
Do benefits of the employer obviously help, like pension, healthcare, like that would help? That would keep, retain.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. As I say, when you have a good team, you want to hold on to them as long as you can, and do everything you can for them. And it's something that, it is one of my... It's something I'm very passionate about, is staff wellness and staff well-being and looking after your staff, because I think if you look after your staff, they look after you in return. And particularly now with my new role as the president of the chamber, if I didn't have the strength of the team behind me who are looking after my business, it would make it an awful lot more difficult for me to get stuck into this role the way I will be able to.
And how big is that team then? How big is your circle?
In my company, we have, I have 6, I lead a team of 6 ladies, and then I also have 3 full-time tutors on the books as well, and then we have a panel of part-time tutors. So it's a small business, but it's
that's in Bagnallstown, is it?
Yeah, it used to be in Bagnallstown.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
just
we're
on the high street there.
Yeah, that's right. We're in the corner there, so we're in Enterprise House now.
Yeah, dropped in the post a lot of times.
That's what you did, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're in Enterprise House now on the O'Brien Road.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where we are now. And look, it's when you're a business owner, and all business owners will tell you this, we all have our sleepless nights when you're thinking about it. I have so many families relying on me for their wages every week.
Yeah.
You've got to pay the bills, you've got to keep the doors open, and the cost of business has gone. It's made things so difficult. That we really need to lobby more on behalf of small businesses, because costs are going up and up, and it's harder. We can't put our prices up at the same level.
Yeah, it is frustrating. There was a sandwich shop on Dublin Street I loved. Right.
I know what you're going to say. Melt.
Yeah. It was me Friday treat.
Only Friday.
Only Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
Right, go easy. But anyway, it was closing down, and I said, "Oh no, it's closing down. Why is it closing down? Oh, it's been bought for houses." 2 weeks later, there was like a property place in it. I was heartbroken. Tell me, how would a business get to that point where they feel like we can't go any further?
You see, there's an awful lot of challenges when you're a small business, because you have to keep your staff happy and retain them, get the right people, make sure they're doing, representing your brand well. You have to cover all the costs, and particularly hospitality is a massive challenge at the moment. And then there's competition, because there's so much happening and changing and evolving. If you look at Ireland now compared to Ireland 20 years ago, people are less risk averse about setting up a business. So you're seeing more supports to set up small businesses. And the challenge is trying to get beyond that pivot point of when you need to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
And that's where an awful lot of businesses hit that wobble and say, okay, either we can't get staff or we can't get the cash and investment, whatever that might be. And that's where people can run into difficulty. And it's awful, because another couple of months or another few grand might get them over that hill. So it's a very, I suppose it can be a very challenging role to be an entrepreneur and take that risk on and see it through,
Like, it can be a very lonely place, to be a business owner or an entrepreneur. It can be very lonely if you're lying at home at night and you're thinking about, okay, I'm so close, I'm a few grand short, I need more funding, the bank won't give me any more money, I know I can make this work. And if you maybe just can't get it quite over the line, or you just lose the resolve, or just think, God, what am I doing this for? Am I going to be able to make this work or not? So that's why with Chamber, or with the likes of the local enterprise office, you try to reach out to these businesses, and we want them to know, we want to get that message out there, particularly if somebody is thinking of starting up their own business, or they've just started in business, or even if they're established in business and want to go in a different direction or take it to the next level. That's why the Chamber is there. That's what we're there to help with. And we want to get that message out there to them, and for them to pick up the phone and talk to us, or we'll come meet them and mentor however we can.
Is that like you mentioned, pick up the phone and speak? Is that like staffed? Are you Chamber staffed with people that are on phones, or?
We're a small team. It's myself and Lisa on in the office. That's it. There's 2 of us. We've about 220 members and growing.
Right.
So within that, we're stretched, but we're there. And that's the thing. I suppose our purpose is to be there for members, to make sure that we're listening to what's going on and we try and help where we can. Or if we can't help, to connect. So we collaborate an awful lot with other agencies and bodies and supports. So we'd work closely with the County Council, with the local enterprise office, with SETU, with SkillNets, with ETB. So we won't, a lot of the time, we're not for profit. We're there to just support our members. So we're not going to have a grant for somebody, or we're not going to be able to necessarily deliver training directly. But we can work with other bodies or find them that from other places. And sometimes it's that signposting, that directional thing, or the fact that because we're not also part of any of those other organisations, someone can come in and chat with us and throw it all on the table and not worry about whether a funder or anyone else is going to hear about that. Is there many people do that? Oh, you'd be surprised. And actually often more over a coffee or a side chat at something. Yeah. You'll be at an event or you'll be out and somebody will say, can I just have a quick chat, And that's the sort of thing where I think the richness is in an organisation like that, is the fact that it's people dealing with people. Yeah. So you can have that. It doesn't have to be formal. In fact, it's best when it's not. Exactly. And it's that human bit of, I get you. And most of us involved in Chamber, whether it's on the board or on the staff, I've been self-employed and then I've worked on the other side of it, mentoring and supporting other small businesses. So we all are coming from a point where we've different skill sets and levels of areas of interest. So if I haven't an answer, I know I can pick up the phone to somebody who can have an answer or would have an answer. Yeah, exactly. It's that connection.
Is there a percentage of it acceptance in regards of what I mean by that is I gave it a go. It didn't happen for me. I'm just going to give up. That's it. Without going to the likes of the Chamber for help.
Sometimes it's
not is it an embarrassment thing? I don't know whether it's an embarrassment thing. It's just like I tried it didn't work.
Yeah. Oh, I think definitely. I think there definitely would be an element to that there. I tried. I started my own business. I failed. Yeah. And you just.
But I'm okay.
Yeah. But you didn't necessarily fail. You just, didn't maybe. It was
hard times.
It hard times. You didn't maybe hit the right challenge, or just you were just unlucky. It's not like I don't like using the word failure because. We're all doing our best. So, I'd never say to somebody you failed. But it's okay, you tried. Okay, this hasn't succeeded. That doesn't mean that something else can't succeed for you. Yeah. Is there another way that we can look at this? Yeah. How can we help you to adapt what your offering is? Yeah. And maybe turn it around in a different direction for you.
Isn't it a case where the product is new to the area, it'll thrive. And then it takes off, and then you have a B line of that product, a C line of that product, a D line of that product, and you're just picking the wrong thing. Do you know what I mean? So say, for instance, if you take coffee, like everywhere is a coffee shop now. There's going to be a point where someone's going to open the 20th or 30th coffee shop and it's going to be, no, you can't. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think that as well comes back to why you're doing it. Because if you're just opening the coffee shop because you've seen other coffee shops are popular, and it's not where you can see yourself doing something different or bringing your own stamp to it, you're at more of a risk with something like that. Whereas when you see somebody, say like the girls out at Barrow Brew out in Milford, the passion they have for what they do out there and what they bring to it and the innovation they bring to it, I know by them when you talk to them that they live, breathe it. They're constantly thinking, what can we do next? What can we try next? What can we evolve next? Because we want our customers to have a reason to keep coming back to us. That'll get you through all sorts of tough times. Whereas if you're just coming to it saying there's money in coffee, the story isn't there, the passion isn't there, and customers feel it. But what's amazing to me, and I say this as a blow into Carlow, I'm 20 years here, but I'm from Galway.
We'll get
3 blowings. From Great Cullen. 3 blowings.
You don't know where you blew. You're still twirling, you are.
But what amazes me here in Carlow is the amount of different types of small businesses that there are out there when you start to do it. Like we're in the throes at the moment of the Carlow Business Awards, which is probably one of the biggest things we do in the year.
Is there a podcast section, no?
Surely. Actually, we might need to put that in for next year.
There will be.
But it's we've got 26 categories, and 22 of those can be, you can nominate either yourself or another business for them. Yeah. Now, we're a small county. We had 500 and I think it was 48 nominations this year. Wow. From 175 different businesses.
That's fantastic.
And that's not even touching the iceberg of what else is out there. And, even though I would think, okay, I know most of the businesses around town or around the county or whatever, there was loads of businesses I hadn't come across before that I was going, wow, look at what they're doing. This, like it does, I have to say that part of the job fills me with huge pride when you see what's happening out there and people are just quietly getting on with it and not shouting, which is Nora's big passion, is making them shout about it.
For sure.
There's so much diversity and people pivoting to things that are a little bit different because they have a passion for it. I'm thinking of the likes of the guys in the parlour. I remember talking to Dennis and Laura. They have the Royal Oak stores there. In
Parlourgen.
And when I heard they were opening outdoor ice cream, and I thought, we live in Ireland.
They're after elaborating since then.
The food is...
It's incredible, the business they do.
I've never been. I've been to the shop a good bit. But just go back. I just want to go back a small bit. You're talking about the awards. Like, isn't recognition valuable for them?
Yeah.
100%.
Is it such a big thing for, like, so say for instance, if you go to a restaurant and they have a recognition platform on their door, or like,
there's so many businesses around Carlow that have been to, be it a coffee shop or a restaurant, a bar, a venue, Take Here, Paddy's office. So many places that you go into and you walk in and there's the shortlisting certificate or the prize if you've won the prize. It's there, the trophy is there, front and centre for all to see. I'm a proud Carlow business owner and I won this at the Business Awards. The recognition of the Business Awards is incredible. And what was great to see so many entries coming in this year from businesses that hadn't engaged with us before, that hadn't put themselves forward or been nominated by somebody. So we've so many new companies joining it this year. It's going to make for a very exciting event.
Yeah.
And what amazes me as well is, we kind of feel, okay, it's really important for recognition for the smaller guys because they may not have the marketing budget that the bigger guys have. But in actual fact, sometimes the big guys nearly value it more because it comes with that community recognition for what they're doing.
For sure.
I remember being out in MSD and talking to them out there, and I looked around and they have this cabinet at the reception area and there was our trophy where they'd won it the year before last, I think. And I thought, when they're that big and they have so many other things, you think, is this enough for them? But at every level, there's that kind of, first of all, that sense that the local community gets what you're at and they understand it and it's working. But secondly, that pride of... Yeah, I've stepped up. I'm doing something that other people are recognising as really good. I love when it's somebody that's been nominated and they didn't know that they'd been nominated.
That's a great feeling, I'd say, yeah.
This the last week or so, I've been making a load of the phone calls saying, will you get your application form in? You've been shortlisted because you were nominated by somebody else. And they're going, for what? Why? I had to literally talk somebody in the other day into putting an application form because they were so shocked somebody nominated them. Yeah. And they have a fabulous business, but they just couldn't get their head around the fact that somebody else said,
they're nearly
you're
the best
good
at their
this.
job. People that don't know realise how good they are.
Yeah.
And that's my point. That's getting back to a point I made earlier. We don't shout about it enough. Yeah. There's so many viable, thriving businesses in Carlow. There's great big businesses and great little businesses, and we should be shouting it from the rooftops. We're a small county and we're punching way above our weight.
I mean, like, you're talking about investing time to showcase businesses, right? And then you have businesses recipients of recognition. Like, you can't measure that. Like, you're talking about a local platform. You walk into MSD. How many people walk through MSD that aren't from Carlow?
Yeah, exactly.
How many people go through the Barber of the Year or the Chipper of the Year, whatever? I don't know the categories. But you're not only giving them local pride, you're giving them like recognition very large, like Leinster and Earl. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's a massive thing. When is that event on?
Our final takes place in Visual on the 18th of September.
And how much are you going to pay us to MC? I had to ask. I'm only joking.
Oh, there's competition there, I tell you.
You'd be more than welcome to as our guests, absolutely.
Do you know something? It's a great L night, I have to say. Last year would have been my first year at it and obviously my first year running it. And what I couldn't get over was the sense of camaraderie, because you'd have people that might all be in one category competing against each other. But they were delighted for whoever won it. There was a real sense of kind of...
It's a small county, don't forget, so we all know each other as well, especially if you're in a similar industry. But so people were genuinely happy for each other as well, you know. So
There's a lot of slagging and messing going on
there's-
too.
I
That
mean,
wouldn't suit us, would it? No, we wouldn't dance like that.
it's a
Not at
great
all.
night. It is. It's a great night.
But it's brilliant. Fair. I had no idea you'd done that. I knew there was awards, but I didn't realise it was a showcase. Didn't realise it was an event. So that's on that topic. What is the other thing? What would be something that you do that we wouldn't know anything at all about?
That's Nicola's role every day of the week.
Yeah, actually, so much of what we do, I always think sometimes myself and Lisa, we're like swans going along, and it all looks calm on the top, and we're chaotically trying to paddle below.
Very good.
But I suppose there's lots of day-to-day stuff. So say, for example, if a company is exporting, we do their certificate of origin for them so that they can get their goods through customs in the country that they're sending it to. And it's something only Chambers of Commerce can do.
Does that change per country?
Yeah, there's different rules for different countries. So we'd have Arab certs, we'd have EU certs. There's all sorts of different things that we do. Simple thing, but if it doesn't happen, it's a problem. They have to go to another county to get it done. It's much more because we stand over that company. We make sure what we're essentially saying with that certificate is we've checked these guys out. They are definitely making that product here in Ireland. It's definitely Irish.
Would that be all like, would that be dry goods, livestock? Would that be everything?
Not livestock. They come in under the Department of
Different,
Agriculture. So there's a few things that come under, but it's most other products. So
That
everything
must
from
be- that must be-
pharmaceuticals to manufacturing, engineering, that sort of thing. So it's one of those quiet ones that we work away on. It's really only the export businesses that need it, and sometimes they might only, like we had an interesting one there to somebody in recently, and they were just selling one trailer to Iceland, but he still needed that bit of certification. So they're coming going, how do I do this? And Lisa's going, okay, calm down.
Yeah.
It's nice and easy. I'll talk you through it. Yeah. So that'll be one example of kind of the day-to-day stuff, but it's amazing on a day-to-day basis how much happens through it. From awards to the certs to lobbying to connecting people to training to everything in between.
And anything can change at a moment's notice, given world political events as well. You know, you don't know what somebody on the other side of the water might throw up in our direction, and as we all know,
Trump himself.
we're definitely facing challenging times. But I mean, I'm the president, so I suppose I'm the face. I just turn up to events and shake hands and say hello. But Nicola is the real
kiss babies.
the royal wave.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, she does a lot more. Let me tell you, she does a lot more than that. But
Tell me this: what's Carlow's biggest export?
oh, I would say we're caught between probably engineering product and pharmaceutical. That would be
What's
our
next? What's the weird export?
Oh, weird one. That is a tough one.
Rubber ducks or something.
I haven't come across any truly weird ones for export. Nothing dodgy that we know of, anyway.
Yeah. All legal, guys.
All legal as
I
far
didn't
as
know
we
you'd
know.
done that. That's after striking me interest now.
Yeah, it's a good one. I have to say, wouldn't be our favourite thing to do sometimes because they're, it's fairly kind of meticulous, and you need to have your wits about you to make sure, because if customs stop it, that's a delay for that business that could cost them an awful lot of money. So if we don't get it right, it can, it has
But
repercussions.
even Nuala was saying there, so the decisions on the other side of the water can affect the export thing, right?
Absolutely. And it's funny because, we have an awful lot of businesses here in Carlow that are exporting substantial amounts all over the world. Like I was talking to a candle company the other day, they're exporting to Taiwan. And I was like, wow, didn't realise anyone
I
here
thought Taiwan are the exporter.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're reversing it out.
Yeah.
So there's so much happening that nobody else knows about. And again, back to Nora's point of these companies are not shouting about the incredible business that they're doing. That company, if I remember rightly, they were in Canada, France, Germany, Taiwan, and they're looking at South Korea next.
Carlow.
From Carlow.
What's their goods?
Yeah, candles.
That's the place in Boris, no?
Yep.
Go away.
And they're amazing. And you'd want to see the setup. That's just absolutely fantastic. So there's so much that's happening that the rest of us don't know about. Like, I remember through the awards last year, it really became clear because we've a judging process where when you get to the finals, you have to present, well, some of the categories have to present to a panel of independent judges.
Wow.
And that's a tough one because it's three
Those are so
judges. Three judges, you have to have your wits about you. But I remember one of our board members was chairing one of the panels and he hadn't done it before. And he came out during the break on a high, and he said, "This is the most interesting day I've had in a long
It
time."
really
is,
is. It really is an interesting day. Yeah,
He
it
said
is.
he had goosebumps at one stage. This company
Yeah.
was telling him, with such passion about what they were doing, and it was an agri, kind of an agri product that they were selling internationally to do with grass feed, and I didn't really get it. But he was so excited by it. And it was just fantastic to see someone's reaction to seeing all these businesses coming in when he was already well connected in Carlow circles.
And you're there, you're there on that day. I sat on a panel, I chaired a panel last year of judges as well. And, then you get to the night and the winner's announced. And the excitement and the pride and the like, oh my God, I can't believe I won. I did a terrible presentation that day.
Yeah.
But, that's what makes the awards such a buzzing night and real feel-good factor.
Just thinking back to one, actually, we had one smallish company and they weren't that long in business, husband and wife team, and they'd made it to the presentation and they came in and they both looked really nervous. And I was chatting to them and I was saying, "You'll be fine. It's grand. They're only going to be asking you about your own business. There's nothing you don't know about that." And he looked at me and he said, "This is worse than the Leaving Cert." And when they came out, I said, "Well, was it as bad as the Leaving Cert?" And she was on a high. She was like, "That was fantastic." And he was like, "Yeah, it was worse than the Leaving Cert."
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of your point about shouting it out and making everything transparent. Like, why aren't we opening up the nations to a Carlow business section with all these stories and all these businesses and highlighting them like that? Like, why isn't that happening?
Oh, I mean, this is one of my passions now, as Nicola knows as well. I intend on, obviously the Chamber is a chamber for County Carlow businesses, and we just want to reach out to, I feel that sometimes maybe they think that we're, it's Carlow, so it's Carlow Town, that the focus is on businesses in the town, and that couldn't be further from the truth. So I intend to, to reach out to the towns, like to head down to Bagnallstown, to team up with some of the businesses down there, to get a chat with them, to talk to them, see what's going on in their sector and their industries. It's going to take us several days to do it. And the same with Boris, with Hackettstown, with Tullow, to get to them all, because absolutely we need to be shouting about it more. We're just far too modest. And if you've got a successful business, or you've got a business and you're doing okay, you're creating employment, you're being able to feed your own family, why shouldn't you shout that from the rooftops? You don't have to be multi-million-dollar or multinational.
Sure, yeah.
You just need, you're providing a bit of employment. How valuable is that to your community? So why aren't we telling everybody about that?
I did a post in Bagnallstown for, I think, a year and a half. I could not believe the amount of businesses down there. And to be on a road and you'd see in the back of a trailer, high-spec trailers, international trailers.
Yeah.
And you're like, they're worldwide. Yeah. They're down in Bagnallstown, so making trailers. And like, it's fantastic down there.
And you see, I think in reality, an awful lot of businesses, their head is down, they're getting the job done, they're meeting deadlines. They haven't time a lot of the time to be telling the story.
Yeah.
Or maybe not the confidence to tell the story, as they think, you can get wrapped up in the day-to-day and think, sure, everybody does this, or everybody knows what I do. That's a big factor. They think everyone knows.
I do anyway.
There's that bit of it. Whereas I think Nora's really keen to kind of dispel that myth of, sure, it's only what I do, and get to the, this is what I do and I'm proud of it point. And sometimes that's, in fairness to the local media, certainly not their fault that they're not covering it. They're not hearing it.
Well, let's blame them. It's their fault.
But we know it ourselves. Like, I would be chatting away. We have a newsletter that goes out every week. And at the bottom of the newsletter every week I say, if you've got a good news story, tell us. And we'll shout about it. And we push it out in our socials. We put it in the newsletter, whatever. 9 times out of 10, we're going to companies saying, I heard you were doing this. Will you tell us about it? Because there's that reticence to shout about themselves. And I'm going to put my hand up and say, because of my last job, well, the one before last, I was working in Kilkenny for 20 years. And if you were a business in Kilkenny and you were doing well, everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
You talked about it, and rightly so, you shouted it from the rooftops. I don't ever get that sense here in Carlow, and I really love for that to change, for businesses to be a little bit more, this is my story and I'm really proud of it. Because every business has come from some passion that person who founded it has, whether that was the person themselves or 2 or 3 generations before them. There's something there that's unique to that business
but it
that no
becomes
one
a
else
draw.
can talk about.
Like you talk about the Royal stores and Bagnallstown, that becomes a draw. So that
Yeah.
becomes a hub in relation to people going to it from Carlow Town, from wherever around. Do you know what I mean? And the transparency recognition isn't about the one business getting all that. It's about it becoming a draw.
Yeah.
And the product getting pushed and spreading the product out.
But it's also that all boats rise thing, you know.
Yeah.
When you see a business doing well, it's particularly in a small area, if you're seeing a business doing well, I guarantee you, watch it, you'll start to see other successful businesses pop up around it, because there's that sense of if you can see it, you can do it. And there's that sense of, oh, yeah, well, if he's doing it, I'll give it a lash.
Yeah.
And also having a successful business in a small town or village or whatever else brings people into it, which then gives more purpose. And that whole knock on, like if you think of any business, be it large or small in the county, and we were chatting earlier, we were saying they're feeding back into the community. You know, they're sponsoring a local team. They're employing local people. They're buying their raw materials from a local supplier. All of that's feeding back into the economy and bringing everything up. So it's about recognising that a little bit more and shouting a little bit more about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even the coffee one, the Chow Coffee.
Oh, love it.
Right, out of Murphy's.
Yeah.
Pádraig O'Toole he was in the post office with us, and he was doing a bit of summer work. He gave up that to do that.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. You know, all of a sudden you see Barrow Brew,
Yeah.
Drive-through brew.
you see Drive-Through Brew, you see the one up at the
Coffee pot,
the
yeah.
coffee pot. They're all. And
Yeah.
location is key. You can park easy in the way you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's location is key, but they're seeing Chow Coffee doing really well. Now that's a great pull with MSD, and then getting your car washed, or I'll just pop over and get a coffee while my car is being washed. But now there's 4 or 5 of these up, not just coffee shops like your Costa or anything like that. They're nearly nicer coffee than your Costa. And there's all local people employed in them as well.
Absolutely.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're all doing something unique. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you look at all of them, they're all doing something a little bit different their way.
Yeah,
And a lot of the times it's about the personality behind it.
yeah.
You know, and that's what I love about seeing there's a vibrancy at the moment and for the last number of years in Carlow. I know people can, kind of moan and groan about, oh, we need this better, we need that better. But if you look at the amount of independent businesses in Carlow Town itself, in Bagnallstown and Burris, there's an awful lot of small restaurants, small boutiques, small manufacturing, larger manufacturing that are indigenous.
Yeah,
They're
correct.
local, they've come up from nowhere, they're battling away on their own, and it's very diverse compared to some counties.
Yeah.
Now, I do think there's a lot of reasons for that. I think there's kind of a quiet entrepreneurship in this county that people don't talk about.
What do you mean by that?
I think there's,
Just for Poppa, just to break it down from.
if you look at, and people talk a lot about in Carlow, the sugar factory, when the sugar factory closed, that was dreadful. And it was massively impactful. And as somebody who comes from Galway, the same thing happened in Tuam. We saw exactly the same impact. But out of it, because of the money that was given in redundancy and supports and all the rest, lots of small businesses set up that probably never would have.
Gotcha.
Those people would have stayed as employees and had fantastic careers in the sugar factory. They were kind of forced by situation to think about setting up for themselves. And if you look at some of the business that have come through or out of that, they're some of our leading lights.
Yeah.
So there is that sense of kind of can-do attitude. And then you look at some of the bigger ones, like you look at Netwatch or Halo Care, or Burnside. Like
Yeah.
they're all exceptional businesses that have started from somebody who often 1, 2, 3 people, and they just battled away, found their niche and thought, I'm just going to keep at this.
Had an idea and believed they could.
Yeah.
And they did.
And a passion.
Yeah.
David Walsh is a great man, wasn't he?
Oh,
He had a
he's
fantastic day in the
incredible.
K Club recently.
Yeah.
The golf. He had, I think it was €5,000 for a team before. But
Never
he
met
had
a man-
celebrities in Ireland
Well,
and David has a couple of pints in the tavern every so often. And anybody played that drinks in the tavern on a regular basis was on the team.
Yeah.
In regards of he took care of his friends as well.
Yeah.
But I think they made 400,000 or something for
Wow.
breast cancer or some kind of
Wow.
cancer company like that, because his poor unfortunate wife died from that. But
But
it was a
he-
fantastic occasion, I believe.
He's incredible though. Like,
Yeah.
again, a
Gentleman
blow-in.
as well.
He's from Kerry,
Mm.
but he is so passionate about Carlow
Yeah.
and Carlow business. If you get in a room with him, it's actually, you come out invigorated
Yeah.
listening to him about it. And the other thing I find with him, he's very encouraging to other businesses.
Yeah.
And he started with Netwatch, and they've kept that ethos within Netwatch. They're very supportive of each other, and now there's no stopping that man.
No.
well, I think this needs to be put out there, because there is definitely a stigma where people say, "Oh, Carlow's a student town only for SCTU. There'd be nothing in it as you mentioned, Sugar Factory closed, Braun closed, Lapple closed. And I kind of would have been in that lane for a while until you see MSD doing so well. You see the new school built. Can't think what's called.
Educate Together.
No, the one up the road was the old tech.
Oh, the Tyndall.
You see that Tyndall. You see Nua. Is it the house? The timber frame house?
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden. But I'm seeing that, but I'm not seeing it anywhere else. Do you know? And I think it definitely needs to be a supplement in the Nationalist of one business every week getting spotlighted.
Yeah.
Here's your story. Be it a window cleaner.
Yeah.
Be it a mechanic. Be it whoever it may be. Because what I think happens then is you create a positive vibe around Carlow and commerce and business and all that. Probably the same thing, commerce and business.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what the size of the business is, about the story of the business.
Exactly.
It's the story. Exactly.
And it's positivity. So you take people away from that mindset that I had, whereas Usher everywhere's closed and the sandwich shop closed, blah, blah, blah. Pubs are closed. And, like, isn't that very hard to shake that image?
Yeah, I think it is. And I think you hit the nail on the head around that positivity message that, you know, without a doubt, Carlow had it maybe harder than an awful lot of counties for many, many years. But we've actually grown out of that. And we need to grow out of the language around that and recognise the positivity that we have for what it is. Because I couldn't name very many counties where there's as much diversity of business at every level. And it's not just about new businesses. There's new businesses, there's medium age, there's some that are 3, 4, 5 generations. It's consistent. And that's, it's. I have to say we're very lucky in that respect. And I think part of it is that entrepreneurial spirit bit that is in there somewhere in us. But secondly, I think there's we're very lucky in being a small county that there's a lot of collaboration and connection between, say, the likes of the local enterprise office and SETU. Having that now as a university is massive, because that's feeding the employees that are going into the likes of Unum, MSD, Burnside.
Yeah.
But it's almost
SBE.
even flirting with tourism.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's, you know, for landmarks and things like that. Like, because we haven't got a beach, we haven't got a seaside, we haven't got...
Well, I did have issue with that coming from Galway.
Oh, did you? Sorry about that. Sorry.
She was nearly going to move.
But then I moved to Loughlin and I have the rivers.
But that's what I mean. You have to kind of replace what other counties might have as a draw to businesses. It couldn't really work hand in hand, right?
Yeah, and I also think that we underestimate how beautiful Carlow is. Like,
That's all right.
I remember coming when I moved here.
Black cloud over him.
I remember a family had come down and they were blown away by Carlow because they hadn't been in it before, because they didn't identify it as a kind of a tourist resort to come to, say, 20 years ago. And my mother I kept saying to her, you know, Carlow Tourism's going to have to put you on commission, because she was telling the world that you have to go to, and then you have to go to the Bagnall, and then you have to go to the Seven Oaks, and then you have to try the coffee and such, and then go to Altamont Gardens. And she was honestly like Board Fulch.
There is so much going on, and you know, you mentioned there like that the coffee shop closed down, you know, and we do tend to kind of home in on the negative things, you know, but another coffee shop opened, so that one closed. Okay, let's try another one then. You know, okay, that's unfortunate that happened, but there's always somebody else trying to establish their business, and we should be supporting them. Firm believer as well, as we all are, on Shop Local. It's so important, and there's great collaboration in this county. It's fantastic between the council, the local enterprise office, Skillnet, SETU. There's great collaboration between training, mentoring, but also it's about getting the message across of Shop Local, support local, because, you know, then that way we're supporting our employment, we're supporting jobs in our county, we're supporting the development of our county. So, okay, we might not have a beach, but we do have beautiful rivers, lakes, mountains, hills. You know, we have beautiful walks. There's people.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The Arsons, that sandwich shop closed.
Well, and then we've got some beautiful blow-ins as well, don't forget. Yeah.
It's very, very hard though for a small company. Like I've seen both sides of the scale in regards to pub work, where I worked in Scraggs, and I'd say, you remember Scraggs, Podge was probably the best pub in Leinster, I'd say, at the time, in the early 2000s. Like, you could be doing 40 to 50,000 during a bank holiday Saturday. And then I went down to Dino's bar, which is my cousin's bar, and service-wise and ability-wise as a barman, there's not a better barman came through the town than my cousin Eamon. He's absolutely fantastic. He sponsored 2 teams in soccer. He did his best. The location is key. It's no Cafe 500. So the location's not the problem. It's just like a price of everything was just beating him up every single week.
Yeah.
And there was only himself, his wife. There was one part-time barman that came, and then there was me. I used to do a couple of nights on the weekend for him. But he was fighting it all the time. non-stop trying to just keep
cost of doing business.
cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And it's so hard. And he just had to stop. And like him as a barman could not do any more service-wise. He'd run a function room with food and beer with his eyes closed. Yeah. He's absolutely brilliant. And he just couldn't do anything about it. It was just the cost of everything, just beating him up all the time. It's so hard. Like.
And I think it's really difficult, particularly in that industry, because the next generation coming up are not drinking the way previous ones did. So no matter what way we look at it, that's I suppose a customer base that's getting smaller and costs are getting higher.
Yeah.
So that doesn't add up, and it's the reason the vintners are out saying, I think they were in the news yesterday saying that 2,100 pubs in Ireland have closed in the last 20 years. And you think, God, that couldn't be right. But then you think about it, and it absolutely could be right, because if I have a 20-year-old and I see her and her friends, they don't drink the way our generation did. But they don't pub drink the way, you know.
And you see it in any small village, you know, where the local pub would have been open maybe from midday, you know, every day. Now maybe they open at 5, 6 o'clock. Maybe there's some evenings of the week that they don't open at all, that they're just waiting for maybe Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if even that much. So yeah, it's a very, I mean, the pub industry in particular, I think it's a very challenged industry, you know, because I think our whole culture for the generations coming behind us, it's a different culture and a different way of looking at it. You nearly got to do food,
right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, don't you?
Yeah, you really do. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like any business, no matter what sector you're in, if the circumstances change, you've got a choice of either pivoting and figuring out something else with it, or accepting this is not what it was and I need to do something else. And that's a horrible reality to face if you're a business owner, because you can feel like your back is against the wall with that one. And sometimes whatever the constraints are beyond your control. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's very tough decisions to have to make. And I think sometimes if someone isn't in business, they don't necessarily get the pressure that individual entrepreneurs can be under quietly having to face those facts of, actually, my whole sector's changed. Can I pivot? Is there something else I can pivot to?
100%. You've got to, you know, every few years you've got to look at your strategy and where are you going. I mean, as I said, I bought the business from the previous owners just over 4 years ago, and we were in the middle of the COVID pandemic, so that was changing our whole dynamic of how we deliver training courses at that point anyway. But then if you go back another 10 years on that, go back to 2008 when they first formed the business, it was a completely different entity of the training that it was delivering to when we got to 2021. And even now, in the 4 years since I've taken over, we've changed our direction again. You know, we've changed our offering. We're now offering more consultancy services. We've had to rewrite our childcare programs because, you know, a new ELC program was brought out by QQI, so we had to go and rewrite everything. We know the same thing is going to come with healthcare, but like when the company was formed, there would have been such an emphasis on healthcare, and now it's completely different now, and you just have to keep looking at your strategy and seeing how can we move on. If I stay in this vein, I'm not going to succeed. I need to change up my offerings here.
It's flexibility, is it? Business flexibility, is
Absolutely.
that term?
Yeah, and I think it's...
I'll create that. Is that the right term, is it?
Yeah, I think
it's your term.
Trademark that.
Holly head is back.
Every time that word is used now, there's a 5% tariff.
30% tariff.
30%, sorry. That was actually a good segue. On tariffs and rates and things like that, do they vary on business or size, or how do they work like?
Rates?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it depends on where your business is located and size. But we're lucky actually here in Carlow, the rates haven't changed. And this year they didn't change at all. So we're not doing too badly. I was talking to, I was at a Chambers of Commerce. We all meet up every so often, and the rates in Galway went up 15% this year, yeah, because they hadn't been putting them up at all. So we're not doing too badly in that respect here in Carlow. But it is something that, again, back to cost of business, that's something we would always have to be lobbying on to make sure. There's so many other things that businesses have to pay for. We'd always be trying to make sure that costs like that are within the government or local authorities' remit to look at, that we're keeping the pressure on to keep those as low as they can be.
They said it, local authorities council set the rates, I presume.
Yeah, they
Is this the first year it hasn't moved?
No, they've been pretty steady for the last, I think, 5 years. I could be wrong on that now, but they haven't moved.
It might be COVID. It might be pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID,
maybe,
yeah.
Well, I wouldn't be 100% on that now either, but...
So we're lucky in that respect because And part of that is probably because there's a lot of new businesses coming in as well. So they are getting, they're probably working on multiples of businesses as opposed to having to. So there's that too.
Gotcha. But the council has to be careful and generous, right, when it comes to rates, because if they want business to succeed, they have to be.
And I do think, in fairness to the council here in Carlow, they are very pro-business in their approach. They try and invest where they can. So you've got the likes of the local enterprise office, which is part of the County Council and connected to Enterprise Ireland. And the funding that they pump into businesses, it's not so much that the grant funding is big, but the support that they can give in terms of helping a business get over a hump is huge. And what I would say to any small business or any small to medium sized business that's out there, if you've come across an obstacle, get in and talk to them, because one of the things that they offer, which I think is really invaluable and anyone can access it, is mentoring. Yeah. And you can get an expert in whatever the challenge is you're facing who'll come in and look at your specific issue with it and say, right, these are your options. This is where you can go from here. This is what you need to do. And a lot of businesses don't realise that that's something they can tap into without any cost to themselves. So there are supports there. Sometimes businesses don't know to ask. And again, back to one of our roles in Chambers, that signposting bit of, the Leo can do that. Yeah, exactly. And there are other, there's other things out there, but,
so it's the reason you pay your rates as well, right, to get that service.
If you go onto their website, you can see all the different, industries where you can get mentoring, like whether it's marketing or green sustainability. There's so many digital. There's so many different facets out there. And you just pick up the phone and ask them, "Am I entitled to this?" Yeah. It's a yay or an nay, but they're so proactive. It's mostly yes.
It's only a question, though.
It's only a question, exactly, and it's a painless process. It really is.
Some people feel I'm not picking up the phone and asking that.
Yeah,
but it's
generally
that's the way people feel.
Well, people sometimes don't think, I need to be bigger, or maybe I'm too big. Or the worst they can say is no. That's the way I'd like. If you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah. Tell me this: if you were to start a new business in Carlow, what would it be?
I have an idea in my head.
Go on. I love ideas.
Oh my God, I don't know.
How much do you want?
Oh my God, I haven't told the council.
It's not food, Podge.
It is. I haven't told the council yet. I would love for us to be able to develop something like, I don't know if either of you have ever been to Boston, to Faneuil Hall in Boston.
No.
So it's basically a building that has all different artisan foods right around the building.
Stop it.
And you can go in and say, you can decide that you're going to have Thai over here, Chinese here, or, an Italian delicacy or Greek. So you have, say, maybe 10 to 15 artisan producers in this area. You can go in and now obviously we need it subsidised, because I'm talking about helping new artisan producers. So if we could subsidise it in some way. I do have ideas. I just obviously need to flesh it out a bit more.
That's brilliant.
With the council. Don't tell Colleen. But I would love to be able to do something like that. So it would be like a kickstart for people that are probably thinking, I'm not from here. I'm from a different country. We have these fabulous delicacies at home. You can't get them here. I could make them and I could sell them to people in Ireland.
That's genius.
And make it, and they will come and buy them. So that's where my passion is. I have this in my head, and I'm going to do whatever.
I'm only back from holidays, and that's what the buffet was like that.
Yeah.
Every single night was a specific night in regards to it. It's Mexican night, it's Japanese night, it's Thai night, it's Indian night.
I'm talking about having them all there together.
But these are all here, but then if you just wanted your pizza, you can go and get that either.
Yeah, exactly. You want Mexican and you want Chinese, or you want Greek.
I was in one in Philadelphia last year.
Brilliant.
Oh, I've been there, yeah.
My divine Christ.
See the passion when he talks about food.
I'm with him. I'm your sister.
You're talking different level.
Yeah, I know.
But that is... There's one in Cork, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are we putting this?
Yeah, well, because they've actually just recently started one in Tala in Dublin.
Forget about them.
Yeah.
Where are we putting ours?
I don't know. Okay. I need to lobby.
But where the market is there in the evenings.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that it might be somewhere that you'll close up the doors, so it's like 11 to 11 or it's 9 to 11, so it's there all day long, and there's a seating area in as well. So I said you can go in and maybe
drinks,
and maybe if you had some drinks like local brewers or something, local craft brewery, or have some drinks there as
Cater
well.
to vegans, cater to celiacs.
So you
cater,
go, so you go over, you have your drink, you have your drink. What I'll have to eat, I'll get something, I'll have a snack, then I might have another drink, then I'll go and get something else.
Yeah.
Do you know? I just see, and a huge social space as well.
Yeah.
God, I'm getting very passionate about
It's
this.
like live action tapas.
Yeah, yeah.
Live action
Yeah,
tapas.
yeah.
I
That's
love it.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That sounds like a sport in itself.
When,
Yeah.
you're having, when you're having them discussions, I will give you my opinion for free.
Okay. Okay.
I'm deadly serious.
I
You're
might need
laughing.
you help
I'm
me. You'll
serious.
help me lobby, won't you?
100%.
Yeah.
Any business?
Oh God, for me, I reckon anything that involves activity and creating memories. We were talking about this at home recently about, we've all bought the stuff and there's lots of stuff around the house and I'm sick of the kids bringing in more stuff. And I was like, will you spend money on making memories now? Because
Yeah.
I'm sick of all the stuff. The way in the evening time, and my eldest is 20, my other one is 15. They don't always want to be out in a pub or whatever else, but they still want to be out with the friends. They want to be socialising. And I would love to see a few things open up in Carlow that are for that kind of late teens upwards to adults, where they can have a bit of crack and do something, whether it's play pool or, even if it's gaming or whatever else, have a coffee, have, something that's not necessarily alcohol based, because they're not all of them are all that interested in that. But it's a bit of evening culture and activity that's a bit of crack, because an awful lot of times we've great coffee shops, but a lot of them close early.
Yeah.
And that age group, they'll go to the pub for specifics, but they don't just pop into the pub the way our generation did. So I think there's an opening there for businesses to think laterally about what would create a bit of crack, a bit of fun, an opportunity for memories and connection and people getting together. Be it families, friends, older kids, not for younger kids, there tends to be a lot of focus on them. I think there's a missing gap for that kind of older teenager up into adulthood.
Yeah, I think that is a great idea also. And straight away, I would think if you go back to the whole pub scene, I would think it's their responsibility to come up with something to get that demographic in.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure for a pub to make money, he doesn't have to sell alcohol.
Yeah.
Make money selling bacon, fries or peanuts or Coke Zero or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's getting people in.
And it's thinking
I'd love a
naturally,
quiz. I'd love a quiz night in Carlow once a week.
yeah, quiz night, board games,
It's
VR, doesn't matter what it is once there's a bit of buzz about it.
FUN.
Who doesn't love a table quiz, Podge? Like a table quiz is fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah. It's great crack. Yeah.
I love a table quiz.
And you don't get them anymore the way you
No,
used
no.
to. You know?
Fundraisers for
Yeah.
football clubs or something like that once a year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine having a table quiz at that food hall.
Oh,
Win-win.
Grim Reaper, come with me, take me
Win-win
now.
for you.
Cook me
Where,
on them.
if that was a runner, where would you go to start that? Like, I'm not saying any of the specific ones, but like a business, where would I go? I have an idea. Where do I go? How do we get the ball rolling on it?
Your starting point really is get in and talk to the local enterprise office, because that's where you can get the funding to turn an idea into a plan. And then if you have the plan, you can start to look for funding. So depending on where you're coming from or what level of investment you have or don't have, no matter what you do, you're going to need a business plan. And the very start of that is getting into the local enterprise office and getting some advice about how to do that well, so that
Start your own business course.
Yeah.
I set up my business, which I intended running until I got co-opted into this. Exactly, about 2 years ago. And even though I had basically coached other people on this for 20 years, and I'd had a business prior to that, I still thought, something I could do with a refresher on this. So I went into the Leo and I did their Start Your Own Business course and came out with 20 more ideas of what I would do and how I would do it and how I'd market it and everything else, because it had the space and a bit of support and a little bit of mentoring to get my head straight on what it was. And sometimes with enthusiasm, we can run into the idea of a business without thinking laterally or having somebody challenge you about whether that's the best way to do it or not. Because sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees, because you want to get from A to B as quickly as you can get. And I think the local enterprise office or any kind of support organisation like that, but here in Carlow, probably local enterprise office, they're very proactive and they're very responsive. If you go to them and say, this is my issue, they, by and large, they'll find a way to connect you to something.
Like they have their in-house expertise, the economic advisors, and that's what they do best. That's what they know, and they they will help and guide you, you know, and if they see something that might be a flaw in your business plan or something you should be looking at differently, you know, they'll help you with that. And, you know, that's your starting point. You take it from there and, you know, we can work on it. We join the chamber, obviously.
Yeah.
Goes without saying.
Yeah.
Is it a long road then? Like, is it a long? So you're saying upskill in business because you're a new entrepreneur. Go into the enterprise board. You know, obviously, it won't be smooth sailing. You might have to change a couple of things. So what we talking time? Like, if I set up a business, if I had an idea in February, am I operating in March?
Depends on you more than anything else and where your skill set is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but remember,
I've seen people, and I say this as somebody who used to be a mentor. I've seen people turn around from, you know, kind of 1 week to 6 weeks if they were really passionate about it and had the right skill set and had, you know, the wherewithal to make the connections. I've seen people take 2 years to do it.
Yeah.
And it really depends on, big part of it is your aversion to risk. You know, some people are very risk averse, some people have no problem with risk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many variables in that. But the main thing is to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
The one thing that I always say to every business is progress, not perfection. We won't all get it right all of the time, but move it forward. Keep the ideas going.
That one down as well.
But even the coffee pot, them coffee stations, they all do food now, acri balls and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just coffee anymore.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely, yeah.
You know, it's coming over the
Protein
gym,
balls,
it's fitness
cookies,
food. Yeah, yes.
the whole
Honest to
lot.
God, it's,
Yeah.
like you said, progress. It's don't stand still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing, I think, compared to, I set up my first business when I was, I think it was 26. And it was a very different Ireland. It was late 90s. And, you know, you kind of set up your business and that's what you did. And you didn't move out of that lane. And there wasn't an awful lot of encouragement to pivot or change or evolve or move on. So then if anything hit, you know, you were really hit. And I remember foot and mouth hit. I had a PR consultancy and a training business, and flying along, it was starting to really take shape. I was delighted with myself. And next thing, foot and mouth hit Ireland, and every event in the country was shut down.
Yeah.
And I remember ringing my dad in tears, going, "I've just had my 4th event cancelled," and that was like a year's income to me over the 4 events was just gone in the space of about 2 days, and I was devastated. And he was silent for a while, and then he just said, "Well, you can either laugh or cry." So he says, "Either way, you have to get on with it." And he was right.
It's the best attitude to have, isn't it?
Yeah. And the thing is, I found other ways to do it. Actually, that's when the training and mentoring started to take off and the events became less important to the business. But I had to pivot. Whereas now I see businesses coming along, say 20 years later, 25 years later, that are more used to the idea that we'll start this way, but we'll move it on to this. There is more of a culture now of expectation of change, expectation of improvement and of flexibility and of, you know, finding your niche and moving it on and pivoting. I think actually that's one good thing that, you know, if good things came out of COVID, people realised actually the whole world can change in the blink of an eye and everything can get shut down, and you still have to find a way to try and work within all of that in every walk of life. I think we got all got a little bit more adaptable in that respect and going, yeah, flip it. We can try new things. You know, who thought that we'd be sending out meat by post to people all over the country from Carlow with, say, Cop in a House Farm? If you said that before COVID, we'd have all said you were mad. But now it's the most normal thing in the world.
Everybody had to adapt. If you wanted to survive, you had to adapt. There was no two ways about it at the time.
It's like, I don't know, I read this actually because I knew you were coming on, so I've done a bit of research on business, right? I still can't spell the word, but I don't know what I messed up.
Is this flexible business, is it?
Yeah, slow down, really. I looked at, I stumbled across, you talk about flexibility, right, pivoting, right? Do you know food for animals? Do you ever hear the origin of that?
No.
So they own a Mars Corporation.
Mm-hmm.
So the Mars Corporation knew that he wouldn't be a millionaire from selling chocolate bars. So he went out and he set up what's now called Royal Canin.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And all their profit, big money, comes from selling pet food. Because he's seen that domestic pets were becoming very popular at the time and they were feeding them. So if they were having steak, your pet was getting steak.
Yeah.
So you come up with food,
Wow.
cat food, Royal Canin. So Mars actually makes their money on,
No.
I don't know, President CEO and a Trump party.
Someone definitely called you that.
We did not know that. So, at least
I also have a business idea.
Go on.
That's
There
yours.
we go.
Strap in.
You'll be a member yet.
Yeah.
Strap in. So, and I have openly spoken to this with my wife, right? I want to set up a tourist. Do you know the paddy wagon tours?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I want to set up one of them that's nearly an adverse Ireland, right? So your market is really rich people, obviously.
Obs.
But like it's obs. But like it's a minibus. You fill it and you bring them to like the Dolmen in Carlow because the history in that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Then you go out to Baines and create a yard, Thorlden for a pint, right? Then you go up to the top of Bilbao. You just do this for a week. I think that is money. Yeah. I really do. I think it's a great idea.
Well, now you need to
I
get in
think
and
St.
talk to the
Dimness is down
local.
around the corner. But
We could go there as
We
well.
need to check
We
in.
could go there as well. You could go there as well. No, I think it's a great idea. Because you know the whole paddy whackery thing. Oh, we'll go to Cliffs of Moher or we'll go to the Giant's
Yeah.
Causeway. There's an Ireland like Ultimo Gardens.
There's so much in
There's an
Carlow.
Ireland there that no one knows about.
Yeah, it is true though, and if you look at the way we all go as tourists to other country now, you don't want to do I'll follow this route, that route. You do want to find your own
road,
thing.
don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, that's probably one of the advantages Carlow might have over other counties, in that we're not as well known for, like, we're not Kilkenny that have the castle and all
Yeah.
the rest. Loads of people won't have ever seen the Dolmen, so we can be that, you know, that hidden
Yeah.
gem.
Like there's like that's what the biggest capstone in Europe.
Yeah.
No, I know people aren't going to be getting excited over capstones. But if you have 20 wealthy Americans,
Yeah.
to them it's the Mecca.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because their history started 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we're steeped. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? We've castles and everything that are falling down.
Yeah.
Like, they don't.
5
The
years
only
ago.
castle they have is White Castle. You know what I mean? Come here, tell me this. If you were to give Carlow a new slogan for business, what would it
That's
be?
a hard one.
Once again, I have one, but you can go first.
Is it Greg now or Carlow? Patch?
Carlow.
All right, okay. Just to let you do that. Wished?
No,
No.
I was trying. We were talking about this earlier on as well, actually, and because it's just something that we're looking at the moment. So we are trying to come up with some sort of a catchy slogan.
Because if you think about it, one of the things that I always say about Carlow is we're boxing above our weight, but we don't shout enough. You know, as we were saying earlier on, we're devils for hiding our light under a bushel. So I think the slogan has to be something around,
Do you want it?
go on, give us that slogan, go on.
Carlow, small county, big hustle.
Ooh,
I like it.
I like that.
I like it.
You can have it.
Small county.
Do you know what? I'll give it to you for free.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Would you have do you have anything? No.
Not really,
Small
no.
county,
No.
big hustle.
You know it, brother.
We are, obviously we're very pro love Carlow, love local, love your look. We are playing around with a few different ideas at the minute, but we haven't come up with anything firm yet. But yeah, it has to be about showing the passion and showing that it's so important to support our little county.
Yeah, and it has to be short.
Absolutely.
Short and
No
yeah.
more than 5 letters.
Yeah.
Because after that becomes a paragraph.
Yeah.
No one has time for that.
Yeah.
Tell me this. What's the most creative or wild idea you've had in relation to business? Apart from the ones we've just went over.
The ones we're going to steal from you, is that it?
His slogans.
Oh, God, that's a hard one.
It is a hard one. As in what, a wild business idea?
Like someone's come to you with a business for waterproof toothbrush and you're like, you can't, it's not retributive. It's not going to happen. Anything.
I don't know. It's not so much that we get the wild, because usually by the time they get to us, they're established as a business. So it's either gone, the crazy idea has either worked brilliantly and suddenly it's a legitimate business, or it hasn't worked at all and it isn't a business. But like there's things like, if you think about Body Light.
The place in Ballin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they've
look at
taken
what
off,
he's
haven't they?
doing,
Yeah.
and that's fantastic. And that was a simple idea. But if somebody had said to you, before that, he's going to, put a light on the thing that you wear and off you go and run, we'd said, really? There's a business in that? But he's doing fantastic and
Yeah.
it's ideal for runners, and now he's exporting that everywhere. So there's every so often you come across something unusual.
Yeah, it's not necessarily wild and wacky, but something creative.
Mm.
And that's
Yeah.
definitely a very creative
There's
business.
2 places now that I didn't know I was local. Like that candle place in Boris
Yeah.
that's exporting all over the world, and that place in Ballin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Torque
Yeah.
candles
And you see them, but you
numbers,
just don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Exactly.
shout your voice, like
100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I know I joke and I mess and all that, but I genuinely, and I've said this already tonight, like there has to be a business section in Nationalist.
But
Just
you know,
got to be.
in fairness to them, I've found since starting in the role, they've been really supportive anytime we send them something in. So they will cover it. So it's about getting more businesses to start sending in those stories to them. Because, you know, their resources are limited the same way as everybody else's
Yeah.
are. So they can only work with what people are coming to them. So I think we need to kind of rally the troops on that one and say to
Maybe so.
businesses, get a press release in, send a photo in. You know, you don't have it. Again, it doesn't have to be a perfect press release. It has to be a grabby story. They're always looking for some good news.
Well, any good news that I've had, I've had some successes in awards over the last 4 years. And I would always send a picture and a story in about it and say, you know, please, if you can, even put it up on Facebook or whatever, if you can promote this for me. And they've always done it. Mightn't be that week, mightn't be the next week, but I'll guarantee you within a few weeks it appears on the National somewhere. So they're very, very supportive of business. So again, it's just that you see, I believe in shouting about what we do and what we win. So it's all about people, you know, raising their voice. Companies, businesses raising their voice.
Are you active on social media?
Yeah, we are.
Go on, give yourselves a plug there. Go on.
So yeah, we're under our Carlow Chamber for most things. So we're very active on LinkedIn and Instagram and on Facebook. And we also have Love Carlow brand that we're active on Facebook with.
TikTok, Love Carlow on TikTok.
Watch this space.
She has plans.
No.
Yeah, it's coming soon. Yeah, this is another passion of mine. So yeah, we are introducing TikToks very shortly.
But that's that is like even from what we're doing here and seeing the rise in our socials, like that is that is nuts.
Yeah,
TikTok.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
and you know, like on our TikTok, okay, we're a serious entity, the chamber, but we also have fun. And we are, you know, like, and we have personalities, and I really want that to come across. That it's not
People
about
don't think
being,
that though. If you work in the council,
Well,
just work in the council. They're not nice.
we don't work in the
We don't
council.
work in
No,
the
but I mean, like
council.
in that game.
Yeah, but you know, like,
Yeah.
are you like, you know, men in suits, and you know,
Yeah.
are you stuffy or whatever?
Yeah.
No, we're serious when we have to be, but we have fun as well. So I really want to try and get a bit of personality across in those.
course, yeah.
So
I love that,
that will be starting in the next few weeks. Yeah,
But that,
So,
but even that gives you kind of it's not what you do, it's how do you get the eyes on you.
yeah, yeah. It's getting the message
You
out
know.
there. Yeah,
And I can only use ourselves as an example. Like, I think we started TikTok, we had about 20 followers. And within like 3 days, it was in the thousands.
yeah.
Like with hundreds of thousands. I'm like, what is going on?
And we have a secret weapon as well because we have Colin Duggan on the board. So
have you?
Have you
I
seen
know
Colin?
Colin well,
Have
yeah.
you seen Colin's TikToks?
TikToks.
Yeah.
Oh, is he on TikTok?
Colin is he's
For the
done
Dolman.
for the Dolman.
I
Yeah.
seen him.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I
yeah.
actually seen a few of Donald ones.
Yeah,
They're very good,
so
aren't they?
he's Colin is our secret weapon.
Dinnery
for
is
the-
starting to do them now. Yeah,
Is that right? Yeah.
Dinnery is
So
doing them
few
now.
there.
Yeah.
I did one today with Shania Twain. Let's go, girl.
Yeah.
All the different girls going around the place. Just
Fabulous.
But it is,
Yeah.
it's so important for, like, no matter what way you look at it, there's a personality behind every business. And sometimes we get so caught up in being the business that you forget to let the personality out. And
Yeah.
TikTok is one of those things, while I am petrified of it, and she is going to bully me into it.
Bring it on.
It's
That's
so
brilliant.
important
Bring it
to
on.
get the
You'll
personality
enjoy it, but
out.
I tell you what it is, I was off social media for a long, long time. 10 years I was off social media for. We started back with the podcast. And see that TikTok, it's worse than heroin.
Yeah, you
but
can
let
just
you
go
go.
down such a
Yeah.
rabbit hole there,
I
can't
put a
you?
lock on it.
Yeah.
I put a lock on it. So after an hour of use, you had to put a password. And I know
Yeah.
I've been on this an hour now.
Yeah,
You know, it's
I
quarter
need to put
10
it down. Yeah,
in the morning.
yeah.
You're like, all right.
Well,
but
hopefully it'll be an
but,
hour
um,
of chamber TikTok situation.
Yeah,
It's not been roasted now.
Yeah, no problem. You scratch our
Hey, all for a
Property
bit of-
Batten.
Ah, no, look, it's the first time meeting. I met you before, obviously. With
Yeah,
the post,
I knew
but,
I knew the face.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I was trying to
yeah.
think, was it because you're from Philly or what is it?
No, I have cousins over there. It looks
Yeah.
like me, I think. Yeah. They're, no, pleasure to meet boys and
Yeah.
let's look in your roles. And
Thank you
yeah,
so much.
Absolutely lovely
Thank
to
you.
meet
It's been a
boys.
pleasure.
Thanks
Yeah,
for
yeah.
not asking us about sport, because
No,
we'd have
no.
been in trouble.
No, yeah.
Could have asked us about
Yeah,
hurling.
listen.
Could have asked us about hurling. That'd be
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Or rugby.
Tipperary, yeah.
Yes, yes,
Aye,
yes.
oh, yeah.
All
Big
our
game
friends,
Sunday.
6 years
Got
all
my
of a
tickets.
sudden.
Got my tickets today.
Did you get tickets for it?
Yes, I got my tickets
There's a
today.
big demand. A guy I work with is from Tip and he's struggling now.
Yeah, it's incredible. I've never seen two huge hurling counties, two Munster counties. It's very intense. All my cousins now, a lot of my family down there, still struggling to get tickets. So I'm still open to any more. If there's any more coming, that's okay. I have a lot of
Is
people
there
asking me
way?
for
People
them.
on the pre-booked the train tickets before the semi-final.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, pre-booked them, and like Limerick had it done before the quarterfinals,
yeah.
and they had to give back the tickets for a refund.
Yeah,
and
I don't think if
Kilkenny had it as well.
if you had told us in January that we were going to end up in an All-Ireland final, I wouldn't have believed it, not for a second.
But
Yeah,
if you said Dublin was going to beat Limerick, you would have said,
very, very, very
check
proud
in my
man.
Podge there and say different, you know.
But you know what it is? I wouldn't be. I'm a GAA fan, but I wouldn't be a massive fan. Right, be more soccer. But I always found Tipperary nearly almost had Cork's number in big games.
That's
Yeah.
what she loves to hear.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I would say.
I find it very hard on a woman wearing Cork colours, though, you know. Tipperary woman.
Can we edit that out? Turn that blue.
Please edit that out.
Cork are slight favourites, I'd say, are they?
Yeah, Cork are the absolute favourites.
Yeah.
Cork are hungry. You know, they have a lot more pressure on them. It's a long time since they've won a match.
She's deflecting straight away. Look at me having a hope.
We're
Look.
absolutely coming in as the underdogs,
All right,
but that
okay.
will suit us.
Yeah.
And do you know what? We have everything to throw at them. So
100%.
all I'm
Young
looking
team.
for is, you know, a good game. You know, a very exciting game, as exciting as the
Get
semi-final
off
against
the fence,
Galway.
Nora. You want to
Yeah.
beat the shit.
Well, there has to be a little bit of payback for that game down in Páirc Uí there back earlier on in the summer. So yeah, there's a little bit of revenge coming, hopefully. Fingers
Well,
crossed.
I hope Tip won it, to be honest with you.
Thank you very
I
much.
genuinely do. Nicola, Nora, thanks so much for coming on. I genuinely appreciate it.
That was lovely, yeah.
We genuinely appreciate it because this is way over our comfort zone. And if we've disappointed you in any of your questions, we do apologise first.
Absolute
Okay.
pleasure. Thank you so much.
No.
Thank
And
you
I
so
want to
much,
say,
guys.
any business that was mentioned this evening on this podcast, you owe us a few bob. On that, today's podcast has been sponsored by Carol's Estimating. Thanks so much for sponsoring this. We no football tonight, but we will catch up next week on football. And as always, Papa, it's not my podcast.
On my podcast.
It's your podcast. It's Carlow Soccer's podcast. It's no Carlow Chamber of Commerce's podcast. Officially. Follow us on all the socials, all that jazz. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck and God bless.
Best stuff. Oh, yeah.
That's a million.
Thank you so
That
much.
was really
enjoyed
enjoyable.
it. Yeah.
That's full time on this week's episode of the Housey Podcast. Available on all podcasting platforms. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter/X. Proudly sponsored by Ampifi. Got a story to tell? A voice that needs to be heard? Get in touch with us here in Ampifi, Carlow Town's professional home for podcasters of all kinds. We can be found on Instagram at Ampifi Podcast Studio. Ampifi, power up your podcast.